Hello there, vinyl community. This is Rich at Embarrassment of Riches, and I am finally participating in the 2026 Vinyl Tag with questions given to us by the inimitable David Atkinson. Now, I have tried on 3 or 4 occasions to this point to make this video. I wrote down the answers to my questions and pulled records from the shelves and tried to get it all together. But I tell you, between 6 weeks of terrible weather here in Pennsylvania, just fucking more than knee-deep in snow, temperatures not above 32 degrees for at least a couple of weeks, so that snow just never melted. The situation going on in this country is kind of sickening as well. There's a lot of things that have prevented me from doing this in the best mood I could possibly be doing it in, but I do love to talk about music. And I have loved watching other members of the vinyl community do their take on this. And I also got to subscribe to maybe 4 or 5 new channels of people that I wasn't aware of, who apparently have been in the community for way longer than I have. Just our paths never crossed, and I ran into 1 or 2 brand new creators as well. So thank you to everybody. Here's what I got. Number 1, David wants us to show our favorite vinyl or otherwise musical purchase of 2025. I've got 2 purchases here that are vinyl and a small stack of a couple of other things that I'm super glad to add to my overall collection of everything that I collect, which includes way too many things. But first and foremost is a record that I have been searching for on vinyl since it was released in 1991. It was never released in the States, which would explain why I never run into any, and I have looked all across this country. You figure this would be a wall record at any shop. But I've also had a eBay alert set for anybody selling this, and generally it seems to fall between $100 and $150 from the 3 or 4 sellers in the States. And those prices have not changed since I've been watching the damn record. So like, these people are just throwing it up there and not caring if they sell it. Lo and behold, about 6 or 7 months ago, somebody does put one on there, starts it at a reasonable bid, and I think it's just between me and 1 other person that we're doing this, and I got it for way below, definitely way below what the eBay sellers wanted, and even way below what Discogs median is. I don't think they have any United States recorded sales on there lately. But this is Ian McCulloch's 2nd studio solo album. This is Mysterio. And while it may not be as famous as his original debut solo Candleland, which is heralded as a classic, I think, by anybody who is into that kind of music, me as well, but I believe this one is no slouch as a follow-up. And it's only grown in stature to me because of its difficulty to find over the last 34 or 35 years. But it's in beautiful condition. The vinyl is as well, and I'm super stoked to have it in the collection now. Over the last couple of years, I hadn't got too excited about a lot of the mobile fidelity releases. I don't care about the whole controversy with sometimes them using a digital master. That doesn't bother me. It's just some of the titles aren't ones that I can get excited about. They don't really cater to a lot of what I collect. Up until recently, the last couple of years, they did re-release the first 2 Run DMC records, which are hugely important to me. They did the self-titled from 1984 and the King of Rock from 1985. Tremendous records in my lifetime. But between, that time and now, there hasn't been much for me to get excited about until I saw the pre-order for Parliament's Mothership Connection, which is my favorite record of theirs, and it's awesome to see it given the 2LP 45 RPM treatment. I've done 1 or 2 videos where I had included pieces of this, and it's just brilliant. It is definitely one of my favorite vinyl finds of 2025. I would ask for your patience in advance if you're only here to see records, but I did pick up a couple of other things for my various other collections that I am involved in over the last year that I'd just love to share. I might have shown 1 or 2 in other videos, but hopefully at this point I'm going to be editing in somehow footage I took recently of a poster that I bought at an auction a couple of months ago And it is a promo poster for the 1982 release of Only a Lad from Oingo Boingo. An actual in-store release poster. This poster is not available anywhere else that I've ever seen, especially not in this condition. The thing is 40 plus years old at this point. So it's amazing to find any of them without pinholes in them or just nasty rips. This thing is absolutely one of my favorites, and I do plan on, I'll probably just mount it to a mat board. There's not a lot of space to cut in a mat over, so I'll just throw it on there and put it in a nice frame and put it on the wall. Very, very nice, and I'm super happy to have that. And next up is a comic book that I picked up in 2025. I got it at Eide's in Pittsburgh, which is one of my absolute favorite comic book stores in the entire country that I've ever been to. There's so much cool stuff. But this was one I really wanted for the collection. I've always loved this cover. It's from Mad Magazine number 11 from 1954. Is that looking good in there? There you go. And that is Basil Wolverton cover. It's a very famous cover, absolutely freaky. But he was so far ahead of his time as an artist in comic books, and that's some very early work, and I love to have that. It's not in great enough condition to get graded, so I didn't do that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But yeah, he was such a gifted artist. I mean, you did not see any of this stuff in comic books in the 1950s that looked that detailed. Just wasn't happening. So yeah, that's one I'm proud to have. And I appreciate your patience with this. I'll get right back to records, but this is another book I found online, and this is called Robotech Perfect Memory. Yeah, this is going to be a real small slice of Americans my age that are familiar with this, but I loved this cartoon when I was a kid, when they first started showing the episodes in this country. And it's a book just containing a lot of the art, production art and paintings and diagrams. But because I am an inveterate poster collector, it also contains, I think, the only legitimate poster of the main spaceship in Robotech, which is called the SDF-1. Now, in the interests of time and the condition of the enclosed poster, I'm not going to fold it out for everybody here and show. If I can find a picture online, I'll insert it in the video here and everybody can get a good look at it. It's just a big spaceship, but it was central to the story. And as far as I know, the only poster available of that particular ship released in its time, it was not that well known in America, so finding anything for it is really rare, and now 40 plus years later is even more rare. Very happy to have found these things. And number 2, David wants us to show our favorite live musical experience of 2025. I did not get to see any live music this year for the first time in a long time. Between like pre and post surgery issues for my spine and getting sick and just being old and crotchety, I didn't get to any. Oh. And number 3, we are to answer our vinyl collection in 10 years' time. Is it going to be bigger, smaller, or about the same? Now, in a perfect world, and if this government stops lighting our money on fire, we are planning to have a house built on some property that we got recently. We have blueprints for it. We have the process started. But again, there seems to be forces aligning against anybody's dreams coming true. We're holding out hope. But part of the blueprint for this house is a room solely dedicated to listening to records, on top of also having a library. But the record room is where I'm probably going to be spending the most time if I can. And that room will probably hold twice as many records as I now have. So, in a perfect world, my collection will be bigger and better curated. So I might thin out a few things that I have here. Number 4, the prompt is you move into a new home. You play one record turned all the way up to 11 to announce your presence. What is it and why? Now, we've moved about 4 or 5 times in the last 10 years because of my wife's job. And really, I've always played at least one record every single time, very, very loud, mainly to test out the room and the house, how everything is going to sound. If the neighbors hear it, I'm not too concerned about it, but it's going to be loud. And for many, many years, it has always been Paul's Boutique. More specifically, the last track on the last record in this set, which is called B-Boy Bouillabaisse, which is great Beastie Boys music, but right near the end, it has a track called Hello Brooklyn, which has some of the deepest cycled bass that I've ever heard on a record, and my speakers respond very well to it, and it's a window shaker. And it's a good hello, how do you do to find out if there's any squares nearby. Yeah. Also, honorable mentions. And next up, more recently in the last couple of houses we've moved to, would be Run the Jewels. This is Run the Jewels 2, and the particular track would be Close Your Eyes and Count to Fuck, which has guest vocals from the one and only Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine. Super duper song, very, very loud. Number 6, we like to have fun here in the vinyl community. Show your top 3 soul and or dance records in your collection. Now, I have a lot of soul records and a lot of funky records in my collection, but I just grabbed 3 that came to my mind the fastest. And if we're talking soul, of course, has to be Otis Redding. And most specifically, my favorite Otis song, I Can't Turn You Loose. If I do, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Now, the next 2 are of the dance variety. They are from British bands, and they were dance floor fillers in their time, and they still get bumped very loudly on the regular in my house because I have not yet gotten tired of them. First and foremost is A Little Respect from Erasure. I just love Vince Clarke's beat programming, and I think Andy Bell is a great singer, but I believe A Little Respect is the best song they've ever done. And I've heard it thousands of times at this point, and I never get tired of it. So there, Erasure. And next, probably to no one's surprise, is Trevor Horn's masterpiece. This is Frankie Goes to Hollywood. This is Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. The album, because I could not find my 12-inch single for Relax, which somehow has just been swallowed up somewhere in this labyrinth of a room I've got. But yes, the song is Relax. Just thumping bass, man. That song is so good. And I heard that song when I was not giving a damn for any other music than hip-hop. But it started to change my listening habits because I saw that there were other things outside of rap music that spoke to me. So I was pretty psyched, and I still love this song. Number 7, A Real Stinker. Nominate a track you hate, you love. 2 things came to mind almost immediately, and I have seen a lot of people show this particular one, but nonetheless, it is true. And it is Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others from The Queen Is Dead by the Smiths. Just a garbage song, and it seems like one that might have been part of what Johnny Marr saw as his reasoning for leaving the group, because that song is just stupid. I mean, I know It's Over is a little bit maudlin, but I can handle it, and it's early in the track list too. A lot of these songs are balanced, and this is a great album. It's not my favorite Smiths album, but so many great songs on here, and then you get to Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others, and it's a mood killer. Always has been. This next one I haven't seen anybody else talk about, and it might seem like sour grapes on my part because this song helped propel this group to the heights of pop stardom from where they had previously been very well respected underground artists to a certain extent. And that would be Walk This Way from the album Raising Hell by Run DMC. This one, I could not fast forward the tape enough to get past that song, or skip the song on CD, or lift the needle and move it over. I do not like that song. I do not like Aerosmith. Yeah, just thinking of it kind of fucks me off. But awesome album. Legendary classic album. Terrible song, terrible video. Yeah. Number 8. If you had to pick only one album from the preceding 6 decades to represent that decade, what album would it be and why? We're talking the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. I'm going to be as quick as possible as I can with this one. Now this one could have gone a million different ways. Obviously, if you have any large number of records in your collection, you could probably think of 10 answers easy for each decade. I tried to keep it as simple as I could and go with the first thing that came to my mind. And the 60s to me are the Beatles, and this is Rubber Soul, my favorite Beatles record. I know, it's not a very controversial take. Everybody always picks Revolver or Sgt. Pepper's or something, but this was the first full album of theirs that I owned on cassette or CD. So I listened to this one the most, and it's still a sentimental favorite. And for the 70s, easily could have been a number of people, including I could have grabbed Jim Croce. I always seem to at these times, but equally as impressive, the debut record from John Prine. I believe 1971, a year in which many wonderful, amazing things were birthed into the world. Besides myself, there was this record as well. And for the 80s, another quick and easy choice, Paid in Full from Eric B. and Rakim. Still a classic that I listen to this very day. Very, very, very excellent album. And the 90s, we believe 91 at this point. But this is not an original press. This is 20th anniversary release from a bit back at this point, but this is Rage Against the Machine's debut album. Always a classic as well. And from the 2000s, I believe this is 2001, and this will probably come up again in another answer very shortly. But Lateralis from Tool, which is extremely reflective. I'm trying to give you the best I can here on the picture quality, but such a super record. Yeah. And from the 2010s, I also forgot to mention the 2000s, out of everything I have on Discogs, is the shortest, smallest section of records I have, and half the ones I do have are reissues of earlier records. That is a real blind spot in my collection. I'm hoping to rectify that soon. But 2010s, it definitely has to be The Monitor from the great Titus Andronicus. This is one of my favorite albums, top to bottom, of that or any other era. Great stuff, and a great question from David. These next couple questions are going to hopefully go by pretty quickly because I don't have anything to show for them. We have here at number 9, you get the opportunity to spend some time with your favorite artists, whether you're going on a walk on the beach, a mountain hike, or getting together for a drink. Who would it be and why? And after a lot of thinking about this, I don't know, I don't really trip on fame. I think the best thing that people who are famous could hope for is a little anonymity and not being recognized and not being pelted with questions from strangers. I think it could only be a disappointment on either end, really. Yeah, sorry. And really, I'm not all that awesome at meeting new people anyway. I'm kind of shy when it comes to meeting new people, so yeah, it probably wouldn't go that great. Number 10 wants to know what would be our must-ask question of this person. And again, like I said, I'd rather just let somebody have their time. I know the question's done in great faith, but it's not something I ever waste time thinking about. Number 11 wants us to show a record that always brings a tear to the eye, or am I a heartless bastard? Well, I don't believe I'm a heartless bastard, but I bet you could ask anybody who knows me and they might say different. Regardless, I am a sensitive soul, and two things came to mind rather quickly when I read this. So first off is a record that I do not have because, like a lot of other foolish collectors, I keep thinking I'll find an original somewhere, somehow, for a reasonable price, and it's just never happened. It's from Sun Kil Moon. The album is Benji. Hopefully I'll put a little insert pop-up in here. And the song is called I Love My Dad, which, as a father myself, and as the son of a father who I really greatly admired, it hits very, very close to home on understanding your father as a human being, flaws and all, not overlooking their shortcomings, but understanding what they had done for you. And yeah, that song hits pretty hard. The live version is really good too. I believe it appeared as a bonus track on a re-release a few years ago. An album that I would love to have. And second, for one that always brings a tear to the eye, is another record that I do not have by the Avett Brothers. It's called The Second Gleam, and it's very hard to find and very expensive if you ever do. The song is called Murder in the City. It's another song about being a parent, and I don't know, that's a soft spot for me. For number 5, David wants us to show 2 records, one from each of our favorite female and male singer. Very, very difficult question to answer definitively because I have so many of either. But within reach were these 2. And this most recently is just blowing my mind. It's Everybody Scream from Florence and the Machine. Florence Welch has such a powerhouse voice and she's a great songwriter. Love this record, just got it about a month ago. And yeah, not too many surprises on this one. This would be Maynard James Keenan from Tool. Another incredible songwriter with a huge voice. Just so great. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find too many people arguing with either of those choices. But yeah, it could have just as easily been Peter Gabriel, Aretha Franklin, Ian McCullough, Elizabeth Fraser. This is just what was close at hand. And number 12, David wants us to show 3 albums from artists that we have tried our best to love and we're wondering why we even bother anymore trying. And that's pretty easy. That came pretty quick. And first and foremost, and it's always been this way, is I can't stand anything that she sings. I just can't do it, man. Next up, as well. It was overplayed in the 70s when I was growing up, that's for sure. But I can't think of one song of theirs that I enjoy. I know people will always come up and say that you need to listen to the Peter Green era, which I imagine I probably would give a try someday and might even like. But this era and this particular lineup, no dice. And lastly is a record and a group that I don't have anything of because I do not like them at all from what I've been able to hear over the years, and that is Sonic Youth. I've never been able, no, can't do it. At number 13, David wants us to show a record from an artist whose character disappoints us, or can we truly separate the art from the artist? And I'm a complex individual. I can separate art from the person. I can enjoy music by people whose personality or whose actions I find abhorrent, because the music is one thing and the person is another. And whatever magic occurs when that person makes good music, I'm not sure if that negates how terrible they can be. But I can run a quick little slideshow of a couple of people here who have seriously disappointed me. And yeah, I'm not going to easily forget if people have made abhorrent racial remarks or have done things to hurt other people. Yeah, there's no coming back from that for me. At number 14, David asks us that if we had to get rid of all of our vinyl and our turntables and we're only allowed to keep one record, which one would that be and why? That's a terrible thing to contemplate, but I don't really have any doubt that if I had to, I could sell all of this and life would go on just as fine. Not as much great joy, but I would survive. I've had nothing before. But if I were allowed to keep just one, and it would be one that I wouldn't listen to because I no longer had a turntable, this came to mind immediately. And this is the Grease soundtrack that has been in my family since it was first released. It was my older sister's record before I ever got a chance to play it. Like when they got sick of it, it got handed down to me. So it was probably that same summer that this was the biggest movie at the box office. And I loved the movie and the soundtrack when I was a kid. I can't handle either of them now. But this does have a special place because there's a sticker there from a box of Captain Crunch. And if you grew up with older siblings, you would know that you were, especially if you're the youngest, you're the lowest on the totem pole. And older siblings get the choice of the stickers and the toys that used to go in cereal boxes. And my sisters always had dibs. And I think it was my not oldest, but next closest to me in age sister who put this on here to keep it out of my possession. This was a spite sticker placing here. And that sister is no longer with us. And I have plenty of other things to remind me of her. She was cool. But yeah, I look at this one and I smile. I mean, this record is beat to ever-loving shit. There's no way it would play straight through. But just looking at the cover with that sticker brings me a lot of joy. And at number 15, David wants us to discuss our number one vinyl community highlight of 2025. And if it's a favorite video, we'll include a link, or if it's a meetup, speak about that. And for me, without a doubt, it's a meetup, and it's the only one that I've had as a member of the vinyl community. This is the beginning of the third year of me making videos for the VC. And I've been fortunate enough to have met a few people through the videos and in the comment section and private messages. And none of them are anywhere near as cool as the one, Mike MGK Boston, who threw a party in Buffalo this last summer and invited many people in the vinyl community. David Atkinson himself came from England, and there were people from the West Coast, the Midwest. I came from Pennsylvania. It's not the longest drive in the world. But getting a chance to meet other creators and see people face to face that you had only ever seen in the confines of their favorite room in their house, surrounded by their favorite music. And in the end, I think we're all just people screaming at the void into our cameras or our phones, talking about something that means a whole lot to us. And when we connect with other people who do the same thing, it was cool. It was really neat. I got to meet a lot of really nice people. I got to have a short interview. David Atkinson asked us all a few questions, and he placed that on his video for the roundup of his United States and Canada vacation that he had taken during that time. It was really cool. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. And at number 16, we are to talk about our favorite musical biopic. And I love documentaries about music. I don't enjoy any biopic. I don't think there's any one that I really, really love. I do love Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story about a fictional musician and his career. That has never failed to make me laugh ever since the first time I saw it, and I've seen it probably 50 times at this point. Always funny stuff. Yeah, I love that one. Number 17 really isn't for me, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's to give 3 reasons why jazz matters and to show a favorite record. I have spent a lot of video time on here over the last couple of years talking about how I do not enjoy jazz at all. And when I say that, I mean a certain kind of what I consider jazz, like a narrowly defined quartet, quintet, just fucking noodling on their instruments and it's not for me. I don't actively hate it. It doesn't draw any serious ire from me. It's just not for me. It still matters. I think it greatly matters because they're obviously skilled musicians doing something they love. It's a uniquely American art form, and I have respect for the people who do anything that I can't do. And I can't play an instrument at all. So when somebody can play it, even if I'm not a fan, I can respect the fact that they do it. Now, jazz that I enjoy is always fused with something else, and that is generally funk. And so I have two jazz records in that area, and that's Manchild from Herbie Hancock and Headhunters from Herbie Hancock. The bass and the funky guitar on these really set them apart for me, and I'm sure there's other people who have done this sort of thing in jazz. I'm just not familiar with them yet, and it hasn't really been burning, in my soul to go find it, so I'd probably have to hear it played by somebody else to realize that it's dope and go out and really want to get it. But until then, I have never been disappointed playing these records. Love Herbie Hancock. And he did the same as well when he did Rocket in the early 80s, when he did some hip-hop beats and there was some scratching on it. That is choice. Number 18, David wants us to answer, if we are on death row and we are given one last musical request, what would it be and why? I searched high and low for this record, and I know I've got at least 2 copies, if not 3, and it just screams at me how poorly I have got in order my soundtrack and various artist compilation collections. I think I just shoved them in as an afterthought because they're at the bottom of these shelves, which, if you're a person with some spinal problems, that whole bottom shelf, all of them are just collecting dust. Man, I never get down there. Maybe if I'm going to grab a ZZ Top record, I'll do it really quick. Or a White Stripes record, I'll do it really quick. Even Yellow Man, really, really quick. But yeah, down at the bottom there is W through Z and soundtracks and various artist compilations. This record that I want to talk about, I could not find. The one song that would be in my head and I would be happy to sing all the way to the gallows would be King Herod's song from Jesus Christ Superstar. Always been a song that brought joy to my heart, and really if I've got to go, I'm going to go smiling and singing, because whenever that song is playing, you are not going to stop me from singing it out loud. It's not going to happen. Hell, I've never done karaoke, but if that song was available, I might do that one. Penultimately, at number 19, sell your favorite artist to a new listener and show one essential record that you think would do the trick. I am always screaming the praises from rooftop to rooftop for Oingo Boingo, and this record in particular, Alive, which I believe came out in 89 or 90, but it is basically a greatest hits compilation played live in the studio. And there's songs on here that are from their earliest records, and it's interesting to see how those songs have changed by being played live for at least a decade at this point. And I think every version on here is superior to the ones on the original LPs, which is an insanely heretical statement to make among Oingo Boingo fans that I've come across, but fuck it. You have to love what you love, and Oingo Boingo is so much fun, and Danny Elfman is obviously a musical genius. The band is super, super talented, and every single song on this record, and there's a lot of them. I think this version, this is the original one. I think this has about 19 or 20 tracks on it. It's a full concert, and it sounds incredible. So yeah, if somebody was interested, I would slide this one their way. And finally at number 20, and please God tell me I didn't skip any of these and have to go back and reshoot, because I've already twice interrupted this recording, paused it, walked to grab something, and forgot to press record again. This has taken me all night. So hopefully this video is compact enough and I can get this done in upload it and have it be under 4 hours. I've seen some pretty long answers to this, and I've seen some really nice fillets that went really quick. Hoping I can be somewhere in the middle. And finally, at number 20, you're arranging a vinyl community meetup for 2026. Excluding the people that you have already met, name 3 people that you would like to invite. And as I had said before, I had not anticipated ever meeting anybody from the vinyl community before this last summer happened. And it was really cool. I'm not going to pick out any specific particular people. There are some channels that I became aware of just in the last year, and they seem to be run by interesting people who I wouldn't mind meeting. But yeah, no, I'm interested in meeting whoever is going to show up to the meetup in Buffalo this summer coming up. So if you're showing up and it's the first time, I'll be happy to meet you and shake your hand and check out your channel. And maybe you'll do the same. And first and foremost, the thanks go to David Atkinson for putting this thing together. It had to feel like a bit of a thankless task at first, but I think he's got a lot of great responses to the video. And on his page, he has created a playlist of everybody who has contributed. And I'm sure it's a very long list at this point. I feel terrible for having taken this long to do it. But yeah, it's just too busy, too many things going on within and without. But I am very happy to have done this. And it couldn't be done for a nicer person or a nicer community of people. It's great to be a member here. And if you are watching this and you are not yet somebody who makes videos for the vinyl community and you've been thinking about it, there's no better point to jump on than during a thread. I did it myself. I'm sure all of us probably, or not all of us, but a vast majority of us did just finally say, screw it, and started our own channel because we wanted to answer a thread. We had watched other people do it for so long. And you become, knowledgeable, and you realize it's not an impossible thing to do. I do it with a camera and a microphone and editing software, but really all you need is your phone. You can make a perfectly fine video on your phone, and I would be interested to see it, and so would a lot of other members of the community. Thanks for hanging out this long. I've got 2 other tags that I've been invited on, and I would love to get started going on those, but I am done for tonight. So thanks a lot for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time. No. And immediately jumped on for mother's fuck. Oh, show a you play blah 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 blah. Which record is it? And this is the Parliament Funkadelic. Fuck! David wants us to... And at number 14, David says that we are... Fuck, if we had to. He wants us to discuss our VC... Spring... was in... Number... when we're giving 26... what? Excluding the people that you have already probably... Fuck me. I wouldn't want to ever put have to... Fuck.